At the beginning of the story, we see a hedgehog named Latte, carefully collecting water for herself. The forest is suffering from a serious water shortage, and every single drop matters. The animals of the forest are storing water inside a large pumpkin, and to deal with the growing crisis, they decide to hold a meeting later that evening. Soon after, we meet a squirrel named Zoom, who just wants to play with other animals. But instead of joining him, they start making fun of him. When Latte notices them bullying her friend, she scares them away, forcing them to run. However, Zoom gets angry at Latte, blaming her for ruining the moment. Zoom heads back home, where his sister Mira laughs at him because he's covered in mud. While standing nearby, an acorn slips from his hand and rolls outside Latte's house. When Zoom goes to pick it up, Latte steps outside and kindly hands it back to him. As Latte lifts her shell to take a sip of water, Zoom becomes curious and asks what's inside. Latte explains that she has stored water there for herself, but Zoom suddenly grabs it, saying that everyone stores water in the pumpkin, so her water should go there too. Latte tells him that no one ever cares about her and begs him to return her water, but Zoom ignores her and runs toward the pumpkin. Latte tries to stop him, but Zoom slips and falls into the pumpkin. It breaks apart, and all the precious water is completely wasted. Both of them are devastated. Moments later, they hear other animals approaching, so they quickly hide inside a hollow tree trunk. When the animals discover the broken pumpkin, they call for an emergency meeting and inform the king that the water supply has been destroyed. Latte and Zoom secretly watch everything from their hiding place. Zoom whispers that they should tell everyone the truth, but Latte refuses to listen, and during their argument, they accidentally fall out in front of everyone. The animals immediately assume that Latte broke the pumpkin. At that moment, Zoom steps forward and bravely admits that it was actually his fault. This makes all the animals angry at Zoom, because now only 3 pumpkins of water remain. The situation becomes even more desperate. The king warns everyone that if they don't find a solution soon, they will all die of thirst. Just then, an old crow named Corp arrives. He tells the animals that the only way to save the forest is to send brave warriors to retrieve the magic water stone. But most animals laugh it off, believing the water stone is nothing more than a myth. Corp then explains the legend. Long ago, a magic water stone appeared on the peak of the White Mountain, and because of it, rivers and lakes were always full. But the Bear King Bantur stole the water stone from the mountain, and that's when the water began to disappear. Zoom's father says they can't enter the bear territory because everyone is terrified of the bears. Corp angrily calls them cowards and declares that he will go alone to retrieve the magic water stone. Latte, however, now truly believes in the legend. She tells everyone that they desperately need the water stone, and if no one else will go, she will go alone. She reminds them that she is a princess. Without waiting for approval, Latte sets off on her journey. The animals assume she's just joking and don't take her seriously, but Latte continues moving toward her destiny. Along the way, she meets a beaver who is building a dam on the river. Latte tells him that she's on a quest to find the magic water stone, but the beaver has never heard of it. When Latte asks for directions to the northern forest, the beaver explains that after passing the broken river, she'll see a massive rock, and beyond that lies the northern forest. With determination in her heart, Latte continues her journey to find the magic water stone. Meanwhile, Mira tells Zoom that Latte hasn't been seen anywhere. That can only mean one thing. Latte has already left to find the magic water stone. Mira urges Zoom to bring Latte back, saying that she really likes Latte, and the wild animals outside the forest are dangerous. Zoom starts thinking seriously about Latte. But just then, his mother calls him inside for dinner. That night, Latte looks up at the sky and quietly speaks to her father. She promises that she will return soon with the water stone, so everyone can finally get their share of water. With that hope in her heart, she falls asleep under the open sky. The next morning, Zoom goes to Latte's house, but she's nowhere to be found. He starts searching the area, and soon notices Latte's footprints on the ground. That's when he realizes the truth. Latte really has gone after the magic water stone. Without wasting any time, Zoom sets out to bring her back. Elsewhere, Latte continues moving toward her destination. Suddenly, she hears Zoom's voice calling out to her. She tries to hide, but they accidentally crash into each other. Latte gets angry at Zoom. Zoom tells her that she must return home with him because the path ahead is full of dangerous wild animals. Just then, a fierce lynx attacks them. Both of them run for their lives. The lynx nearly strikes Latte, but Zoom distracts it just in time and saves her. Now the lynx starts chasing Zoom instead, cornering both of them with no way out. At the last moment, a falling tree, triggered by the beaver, crashes onto the lynx, knocking it unconscious. Once again, they are saved. Back in the forest, Mira waits anxiously with her friends for Latte and Zoom to return. The water supply is already starting to run out. Meanwhile, Zoom's father goes to meet the king of the forest to ask for help. The king explains that he has sent Corp to search for them and bring them back safely. He also orders that whatever berries and water remain should be distributed equally among all the animals. Meanwhile, Zoom tries to take Latte back home, but Latte refuses. She has made up her mind to retrieve the magic water stone at any cost. This leads to another argument, and while fighting, they end up inside the cave of a frog named Greta. Latte explains that they are heading toward the northern forest to bring back the magic water stone because their land is running out of water. Greta listens and then shares her own story. She reveals that she is also a princess, but she left her home without telling anyone, and that's how she ended up in this miserable condition. Greta advises them to stay in her cave for the night, warning them that the lynx becomes even more dangerous after dark. That night, Latte and Zoom eat some fruit and fall asleep. The next morning, Greta tells them that they must learn to work together as a team. Zoom still wants to take Latte back home, but Greta reminds them that both of them are brave and truly want to help others. That's why they should continue this mission together. Greta then warns them that the path ahead leads through wolf territory, followed by a dry, rocky land. Before they leave, she gives them a bag of juicy grapes so they can quench their thirst along the way. With renewed determination, Latte and Zoom continue their journey toward their destiny. Soon, Latte and Zoom reach a rough, rocky land. Walking becomes painful, and both of them grow exhausted. Suddenly, they notice many animals running away to hide. That's when they realize why Lupo, the wolf, is approaching with his pack. Zoom tries to hide as well, but Lupo and his friends surround them from all sides. Latte boldly introduces herself, claiming that she is a princess, and warns them that if even a single hair on her head is harmed, the consequences will be terrible. Lupo smirks and replies that he is a prince too. He says that since they are his guests, they should join him for dinner. Latte and Zoom refuse. Latte then explains that they are traveling to retrieve the magic water stone from King Bontour because their land has completely run out of water and the animals are suffering. Lupo decides to let them go for now. He secretly thinks that once they bring back the magic water stone, he can steal it from them himself. As Latte and Zoom continue walking, night slowly falls. Latte begins to feel thirsty and asks Zoom for a grape. Zoom turns it into a game, telling her to play a shell game. He hides the grape under one of the peels and starts moving them rapidly. Latte fails to track the right one until only the last peel remains. Zoom tries to cheat by secretly slipping the grape away, but Latte catches him. She realizes that the grape wasn't under the peels at all. It was hidden behind his back. In the end, they split the grape and share it. That's when Latte finally opens up. She admits that she's not really a princess. She lied because she has no one in the world and wanted to feel important. Zoom smiles and tells her that her lie doesn't hurt anyone because some lies are actually kind. And besides, if she's a princess, then that makes him her bodyguard. The next morning, Latte and Zoom continue their journey, but Zoom starts worrying about his home. He knows that by now, the water stored in the pumpkin must be completely gone. Latte reassures him, saying that once they find the water stone, there will be more than enough water for everyone, and all their problems will be solved. As they try to cross a deep ravine using a fallen tree trunk, Zoom suddenly says they should turn back. He believes there's nothing waiting for them ahead, and he can't go any farther. Zoom offers Latte the grapes, but she refuses. Their argument causes all the grapes to fall into the ravine below. Angry and frustrated, Zoom snaps at Latte. Latte decides to move forward alone, but her foot slips, and she nearly falls. Zoom rushes to help her, but Latte pushes him away and angrily tells him to go back to his family. With that, Latte walks away, and the two of them part ways. Soon after, Zoom hears the sound of flowing water. He climbs up the mountain and is stunned by what he sees, the northern forest, lush and green, filled with water everywhere. Overjoyed, he rushes back to call Latte, but suddenly Zoom slips and falls down the slope, landing right in the middle of a group of bears who are exercising. He desperately tries to dodge their massive feet. In panic, Zoom hides in the fur of Amaru, the son of King Bantour. Amaru quickly notices him and warns that only bears are allowed inside. If the guards see Zoom, they'll throw him out immediately. Zoom agrees and stays hidden. Clinging tightly to Amaru's fur, he manages to sneak inside the bear palace. As Latte keeps searching for the magic water stone, night slowly falls. Exhausted, she lies down on a small bed placed nearby and gazes up at the sky, quietly talking to her father. Suddenly, an old hedgehog appears. Latte, lost in emotion, mistakes him for her father and calls him dad. The old hedgehog gently corrects her, saying he never married, so she can't possibly be his daughter. Latte explains that she is on her way to take the magic water stone back from King Bantour. The old hedgehog tells her that hedgehogs are meant to live alone. They always have been, and always will be. Hearing this breaks Latte's heart, and she begins to cry. Trying to comfort her, the old hedgehog says he can show her the way to the water stone, but Latte, angry and hurt, storms off without listening. Elsewhere, Amaru has returned to his room. Once his mother leaves, he tells Zoom that it's safe to come out. Amaru asks Zoom what kind of bear he is. Zoom jokingly replies that he's a nut bear. The two quickly become friends. Zoom walks over to a waterfall, amazed by the sight. That's when he realizes that Amaru is the son of King Bantour. Amaru explains that after falling rocks blocked their water supply, his father brought the magic water stone, and now the bears have more water than ever. Zoom tells Amaru the truth, that King Bantour stole the water stone, and because of that, the rest of the forest is suffering with no water at all. Zoom explains that he and his friend Latte came to return the water stone. Amaru hesitates hesitates, asking what will happen to his people if the water stone is taken away. Zoom explains that if the water stone is placed back on the White Mountain, water will flow to everyone again. But first, they must find Latte. Meanwhile, Latte is crying, angrily talking to a stone, filled with determination. She returns to the old hedgehog and asks him to show her the way into the bear palace. The old hedgehog tells her about a secret tunnel that leads inside the palace. At dawn, they reach the tunnel entrance. The hedgehog explains that Latte will have to swim through it to get inside. Without hesitation, Latte dives into the tunnel. At the same time, Amaru and Zoom head out to search for Latte. Suddenly, a guard spots Zoom, and he is immediately captured. Inside the palace, Latte emerges from the water and freezes in awe. Right in front of her lies the magic water stone. Overjoyed, she steps forward to grab it, but slips and falls into the water. The bears catch her along with the fish, and Latte is thrown into a cell. There, Latte finally reunites with Zoom. Filled with regret, Latte apologizes for everything. Zoom tells her about his new friend Amaru, who is kind and understanding. Now both of them start thinking about how to escape. Zoom misses his family deeply and reveals that he saved one grape just for them. Together, they split the grape in half and eat it, sharing a quiet moment of hope. The next morning, Amaru comes to rescue Zoom and tries to help both Zoom and Latte escape. But before they can get away, the guards arrive and capture all three of them. They are taken straight to King Bantur, who is busy enjoying himself. The guards bow and tell the king that they have caught two spies, and that Prince Amaru was trying to free them. Bantur looks at Latte and Zoom and demands to know why they are here. Latte bravely explains that their land has completely dried up, and all the animals are suffering from a lack of water. Bantur coldly replies, asking what that has to do with him. Latte then tells him the truth, that they came to take back the magic water stone because he stole it from the White Mountain. Enraged, King Bantur orders the guards to throw them out immediately. Just then, Bantur begins a powerful water dance along with the other bears. In the chaos, the guards lose their balance and fall, allowing Latte and Zoom to slip free. The bears are too busy enjoying the dance to notice what's happening. Taking advantage of the moment, Latte rushes toward the magic water stone. With Zoom's help, she pulls it out, and the instant she does, all the water inside the bear kingdom dries up. The bears fall to the ground in shock. Bantur realizes what's happening and sees the small animals escaping with the water stone with Amaru's help. He chases them into the tunnel, but gets stuck along the way. Latte, Zoom, and Amaru reach a bridge. Bantur appears again, but Zoom cleverly tricks him and sends him falling down. After thanking Amaru, Latte and Zoom rush toward the White Mountain. On the way, the wolves spot them. Lupo approaches Latte and says he's glad to see her, and assumes she must have completed her mission. He tries to grab the magic water stone. At that moment, King Bantur arrives. The wolves and Bantur begin arguing among themselves. Using the distraction, Latte and Zoom run, but suddenly the lynx appears in front of them. Soon, all the animals surround Latte and Zoom. Latte steps forward and says that fighting will solve nothing. Instead, she suggests a game, one that will test intelligence. Whoever wins will get the magic water stone. Zoom pretends to place the water stone under one of the shells, distracting everyone. While all eyes are on the game, Latte quietly escapes and begins climbing the White Mountain. Zoom keeps the animals busy, but soon they realize the truth. They rush after Latte to stop her, but it's too late. Latte reaches the peak and plants the magic water stone back where it belongs. Suddenly, water bursts from the mountain and begins flowing everywhere. Rivers are reborn and the animals are swept away by the rushing water. Just in time, Corp rescues Latte and Zoom and brings them back safely to their land. Soon we see all the animals celebrating as rivers and streams return. Everyone now believes that the legend of the magic water stone was real all along. Corp arrives with Latte and Zoom, and the entire forest cheers with pride. Zoom's mother welcomes Latte into her family, making Latte happier than ever. Water reaches every corner of the land. Amaru watches it all with joy. King Bantur looks at his son and tells him that one day he will be an even better king than him. The animals smile, united at last, and with water flowing freely once again. This story reminds us that you don't have to be big to make a big difference. All it takes is courage, kindness, and the will to care. If this journey touched your heart, subscribe for more stories like this and share it with someone who believes in hope.